Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by and joining us with our ongoing coverage of the severe weather outbreak, or the severe weather potential that we're tracking tonight across parts of the Great Lakes and the Midwestern states. We've had a lot of weather we've been tracking, and we want to keep you guys up to date. I'm just going to check a couple of things here real quick, because the weather has been changing several times over the last several minutes, and I wanted to keep you guys up to date. We're also dealing with a couple of issues with our technology here, so hang on there, Matt. Let me see if I can get it to screen mirror. So it's thinking about it. So in the meantime, you guys, I can let you know that we are still watching the risk for severe weather through parts of the Great Lakes in those Midwestern states through the overnight. Now, this is going to be an overnight event that we're going to be watching not only just right now, but through the next several hours. And so I think we could also be talking about this event well into tomorrow morning if it holds together. So we're still dealing with that potential. And actually, Matt, I don't think it's going to work. It looks like, oh no, I think I have it. Yep, we got it. All right, perfect. So anyways, you guys, let me take the MyRadar app full, and we're going to show you what's going on. So there's a couple of things. So we have the jet stream, which is almost always center stage when we're trying to set the ingredients for severe weather. And as you take a look at the app, this is the jet stream, and you can see how it's just riding over this region of the country. So far, those storms have been severe levels. A few of them, there currently is one severe thunderstorm warning in the Great Lakes region, but most of the weather is expected later tonight and through the overnight. So you can see the cascading effect, if you will, with that trough of low pressure, which really is the dip in the jet stream. And then down to the south, let me pull this out just a bit. We've got winds coming out of the south, and look at that big dome of high pressure, by the way. So there's some multi-pronged weather events going on. We've got this excessive heat wave going on with excessive heat warnings in this region of the country, but also in conjunction with that is that southerly flow that's coming out of the deep part of the tropics or through the Gulf Coast region, and that's meeting up with this jet stream, and that's creating the lift or the tilt in the atmosphere that helps to produce these could be supercells, which would produce severe thunderstorms. And we do think this potentially could be a derecho type event, meaning that we would have long-standing storms that would last for multiple hours with winds in excess of 58 miles an hour or greater, and could last for up to 250 miles or more. So that's kind of the criteria there for those derecho type events, and that's what potentially could be setting the stage as we head into tonight. So we'll switch over to WSI and we'll show you what's going on there. And as you can see, things are relatively quiet right now. So yes, there is a tornado watch, and there's also been, as I mentioned, there's one little lone severe thunderstorm up in Minnesota rather. And as we head through tonight, though, expect these ingredients to get pretty active, because the stage is set for some pretty decent weather through the next multiple hours. And I expect to see these watches and these warnings extend south and to the east And let me just pull this out just a bit. I've got 5 live radars up right now. And as you can see that most of this is relatively quiet, but I do expect this to change as we head into the next several hours. And unfortunately, what the problem is when you get an overnight event, a lot of people go to bed. They do not know about the warnings that could be happening. And as you can see here, we're starting to see that leading edge. Let me stop this because I want to show you. We already can see the beginnings of this trying to line up and what could be, the potential for some of these stronger storms to fire. So give me 1 second. Let me grab our pointer here and we'll take a look. So you see how right here that we've got this little area, but then if you extend back, and this has got some hail in it right here, just south of Rylander, this is going to line up with this band of storms, and then all the way back up in here, this is all going to line together and push southward, and that's what we're talking about in terms of that derecho type event, when these clusters of storms line together, they stack up like a deck of cards, and then they really become much more organized, much more dangerous, and have that hail and high wind effect, and it's going to cross over the Great Lakes, and then potentially over into Michigan and southward. So let me loop that one more time so you can see it. It's not there yet. We're still talking about this in the formative stages, but it's definitely looking like it's trying to get its act together, and you can kind of see it there. And you'll see how close those storms to the west are trying to line up to those storms just south of Rylander. Those will definitely start to line up together and again produce what will likely be a severe weather event and potentially a high wind event. So Storm Prediction Center early today actually issued this moderate risk. So 5 million people are at that moderate risk, and that's a very high risk for tornadic storms. 7 million people at an enhanced risk, and about 23 million people at a slight risk, 27 million at a marginal risk. So of all of these signatures that we're going to be watching tonight, I think the hail and the wind will be the 2 primary factors that we're concerned about. But of course, when you're at a moderate risk, you really, really have to pay attention because things can get very dangerous very quickly. And that's what we're potentially looking at as we head through tonight. And that's why we want folks to know. And I'm sure if you live in this region of the country, you do know that risk is already there. But as we head through the late night hours, that could last into early morning. And I stopped that system, my computer by accident. So I've got to skip through these graphics here real quick, but we'll get back to the current graphics in just one more right here. So here's a look at the categories in terms of risk factors. So a level 4 is a moderate. That's a 4 out of 5. So the Storm Prediction Center issues on a scale of 1 to 5. Again, that 4. So the moderate risk includes widespread damage possible, long-lived tornadoes are possible, intense tornadoes are possible, strong tornadoes, widespread damage, and large hail. So, when you get a moderate risk, especially in this region of the country, which is not in an area that is prone to severe weather, we look more towards the Central Plains, the heartland, for those type of enhanced or moderate risks. So when the Storm Prediction Center puts this type of warning out, you really do need to pay attention because the risk is serious and it could be long lasting. And that's why we're going to be watching this for you guys tonight, because that's a very, very increased threat for some of this severe weather. Now, Futurecast shows the storms are still going to try to initialize over these next couple of hours. And again, unfortunately, because this is going to be an overnight event, a lot of people are going to go to bed and not worry about this. So here's what I want you to do. If you could do me a huge favor, I would be so grateful if you could do 2 alerts. And one, turn on your MyRadar notifications audible so you can hear them if you have watches or warnings issued in your area. But 2, hopefully you have a NOAA weather radio, because those give an audible sound if you are in the risk of severe imminent weather. And new this week, actually, the National Weather Service started issuing products. When they push out a notification of a severe thunderstorm warning, you should get some type of notification from them as well. If your alerts are turned on, you have to have them turned on in your settings in your phone. So it's not in a National Weather Service app. It's not in the MyRadar app. It's in your phone settings that you need to turn those notifications on so you can get those alerts in the event that you're dealing with severe weather. So make sure you do that before you go to bed. It really would make me feel better. You know, I hate these overnight events because they can be catch people off guard. I'm going to back this up. I'm going to scrub this timeline one more time. We'll take a look one more. So as you can see here, through the next hour, 2 hours maybe, we're dealing with moderate to heavy storms. There was flooding in the Duluth area just 2 nights ago from this again, series of weather events that we've been dealing with. So again, there could be the potential for these storms to put down some heavy rain. And of course, those magenta colors you see there on Futurecast, that's hail. So the hail is a big risk tonight. And then as we head into the overnight, as I mentioned, that we could see some of that bowing feature, which would indicate something try to turn into a derecho type event or a big wind event. And that's the concern. This is an area favored for those type of synoptic features. So please be aware that those could be ongoing. I'm scrubbing this really slow because I want you guys to see as we head through tomorrow even, some of that could hold together through parts of Ohio and into western Pennsylvania. And let me back that up a little bit because the northeastern part of the country also has been dealing with several rounds of severe weather over the earlier part of this week. And we could see that again play out today or tomorrow rather, and into the day after. So we'll see if that indeed verifies. But for now, the biggest risk will be that severe weather, wind, and hail risk as we head into these overnight hours. Rain accumulation, this is going to be a fast moving system. So don't worry about flash flooding too much in this area. You can't rule out storms that train on top of one another, and that is certainly going to be the possibility. And I do think we will see some isolated, localized flooding, but in terms of a widespread, let me back that up because it scooted past that too quickly. I do think we could see some localized flooding as we head into the overnight. So you can see it there. This is a high resolution, the HRR model. We call it the HRR model. And that's showing some indications that there could be some localized heavy rain totals. But because this system is moving so fast and it's expected to move all the way over into the northeastern part of the country by late tomorrow night and into Friday, I'm not too concerned about a widespread flooding event, but I do think there will be some pockets there where we can have some big time flooding. But look at that over New York City, big metro areas could be dealing with some localized flooding as well. And as we saw from just a week ago, I think that it was a week to 10 days ago, there was the subways in New York City got flooded out from a system that moved through not only New York, but moved through DC and moved through the Delmarva. It's been a pretty active summer season with severe weather. So, don't rule that possibility out that you could have some headaches on Friday trying to get your commute in. Storm reports, they have waned a bit over the last couple of hours. We've had hail in the Great Lakes region. As I mentioned, that's going to be one of the bigger signatures as we head into the next couple of hours. And here's a look at the water vapor. This kind of also tells the tale. You can see that trough of low pressure. Let me stop this for you guys. Hang on one sec, and then we'll kind of carve out, we'll do a rudimentary drawing here of the trough. And that just indicates, again, the dip in the jet stream. So the jet stream is kind of like the octane or the energy, the high boost in the atmosphere that you need for severe weather to occur. So anytime you see a dip in the jet stream, I'm going to draw it for you here. Hang on. So here's a front right in here, but the jet stream kind of lines up with that. The subtropical, the secondary jet. But then let me switch and go up into this region. And then the primary jet is right in here. So that kind of fuels, it kind of gives a little lift in the atmosphere, that twist that you need to get storms to get into that caliber of a rotating supercell. You have to have twist, right? So you have to have winds coming out of the base of the storm, and up at the upper levels, you also have to have some twist or some rotation as well. So the jet stream helps provide or amp up or rev up those storms to help them twist in the atmosphere to get these supercells. So the jet stream is anchored over this region that we're looking at tonight. And then the subtropical jet, along with this cold front, is also kind of helping to pump up some of that moisture up into that region. So the ingredients are all there. Sometimes Mother Nature will fire, sometimes it won't. But when the Storm Prediction Center issues a moderate risk, we are going to be watching that because they don't issue those lightly. We've looked at I've looked at the photographs, I've looked at the SCUTs, I've looked at the parcels of energy that's there. It's all there. You know, a lot of it is in place. Sometimes it fires, sometimes it doesn't, but potentially the risk is still there for you to have that risk of severe weather. So that's why we want to let you know that we're watching that. So just a quick look at that trough, or that area of low pressure, that cold front that's going to be moving eastward as we head into tonight and into tomorrow. Kind of, again, that secondary fuel, if you will, for some of those storms to fire as we head into the second half of the forecast. So all of that to say that the risk is significant, and it's, again, I'm backing this up because for some reason my front just flew by, this map flew by, but the risk is significant enough that we want you guys to know it's there. And then you can see, again, look at those storms moving through the U.S.-Canadian border up into Pennsylvania, New York, big metro areas, late tomorrow night and into Friday. And then as we get into late into the afternoon hours on Friday, that should be out of here. But there is still plenty of weather to go around as we head through these next 48 hours. So we're going to continue to watch that for you guys. And we're going to have another update. We're trying to get Aaron Jack, by the way. He's out storm chasing, and I believe he is in Minnesota. Let me check something here real quick before we turn the stream off. I just want to see if Aaron has an update. And Matt, if you see something from him, let me know, because I can't see the restream like you can. But I just wanted to see if I missed something. Let me check the National Weather Service. But anyway, so we're going to be watching this, you guys. I'm looking at the National Weather Service chat, and I don't see anything other than that severe warned storm, that there was a confirmed report of hail, golf ball size, by the way. And this is in, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can say that right. Beltrami County? Beltrami, I apologize if I got that wrong. I think that's Beltrami County in Minnesota, in northern Minnesota. Golf ball size hail was just reported about 34 minutes ago from a trained weather spotter. So again, I think that's going to be one of the bigger signatures as we head into these next couple hours, that the very large hail, high wind, and some of these storms could escalate into a supercell and produce some tornadoes. But the wind will be definitely significant as we head through these next couple hours. So we're going to attempt to get Aaron tonight. You may have seen some of his stuff on YouTube. And of course, he tags us. He's great, tagging us on our pages. So look for some live content with Aaron later tonight. We'll have more updates here in just a few hours. For now, though, I'm Chief Meteorologist Leslie Hudson. Stay safe, you guys out there. And we'll see you back here in just a little bit.